God. That means the minute you're born again, here we are and here's Christ. Our lives are hidden in Christ. Know who you are and know what you are. Be encouraged. Our prayer partners are here ready to serve you 24 hours a day. Give us a call. We'd love to pray with you.
Tonight on Huckabee, Senator Marsha Blackburn fights for your internet privacy. Greg Jarrett reveals the witch hunt in Washington, and the legendary Charlie Daniels performs. That's Trey Corley in the Music City Connection. And I'm your announcer, Keith Pilgrim. And now, here's Mike Huckabee!
Thank you so very much. We've got a great audience and a terrific show lined up for you. And boy, oh boy, we're going to have a little fun. In fact, we're going to have so much fun. We're going to get started with something that I'm pretty sure you've never seen ever on network television before. Hey, do you want a job in Washington, D.C. these days? Let me tell you about the job that you ought to shoot for. No experience necessary. It's a job that'll make you a hero to the media. It allows you to be treated like royalty by certain members of Congress, and you really don't even have to show up for work. In fact, it's kind of like being a reporter without ever having seen firsthand any of the stories that you're reporting on. You know what it is? It's the job of the whistleblower. You see, tonight, I'm teaching our entire studio audience right here in Nashville how to get on this incredible opportunity to make history, change history, heck, even create history out of absolutely nothing. Yes, you too can be a whistleblower. You know, there are members of Congress and media personalities who are desperate to overturn the election results from 2016. And they tried whistleblowing over a 12-year-old videotape of then private citizen Donald Trump saying some pretty raunchy and disgusting stuff. And hey, it wasn't good and no one defended it. But most people who voted for now President Trump didn't do so because they thought he was a Sunday school teacher. They did it because he wouldn't force the real Sunday school teachers and the pastors and priests to submit to government control of their beliefs about the sanctity of life or the biblical model of marriage. Now, those voting for Trump heard the so-called whistleblower, but they weren't electing Donald Trump to teach their children. They elected him so the government wouldn't tell the parents what they would teach their children, or their church, or their mosque, or their synagogue. Now, after Donald Trump was actually elected, the D.C. establishment went nuts. They started immediately calling for impeachment before he was even sworn in. And they tried to do some whistleblowing about Russian collusion, obstruction of justice, and they even tried to whistleblow if someone stayed in a Trump hotel anywhere in the world. By the way, they spent over $35 million of your tax dollars and 2 years on a team of highly partisan special prosecutors looking for a whistleblower. All they got was nose blowers. And in the end, they got nothing. Nada. That sound out there, by the way, was someone blowing his nose. That's just so you know. And then the president had a phone call with the newly elected president of Ukraine, a former comedian. And that kind of makes sense because the Ukrainian government was so corrupt before, it was itself a joke. Now, the new Ukrainian president was elected to drain his own swamp. After the call, there emerged a whistleblower. But the whistleblower didn't actually hear the call. In fact, after tonight, I won't hear anything, to be honest with you. No, he heard about it from some pals in the deep state of bureaucrats and highly placed spooks from the intel community who hate President Trump, but still take a paycheck from him. And they told the so-called whistleblower, who in turn told TV camera hog Congressman Adam Schiff and Speaker Nancy Pelosi about what he or she, because we don't know who it was, what that person learned second and third hand. So it's like letting someone help referee and blow the whistle at a New Orleans Saints game that he never actually saw, but he heard about it from some friends who really hate the Saints. And by the way, if you've seen what's happened to the Saints at times, even the refs at the game didn't see much either. Because it turns out the whistleblower was actually connected to Joe Biden, which neither Schiff nor Pelosi bothered to mention. Now, there's more, but I think you get the drift. To be a whistleblower, you don't have to actually see or know anything. You just have to believe something really, really bad about Donald Trump. And then you can be the toast of the town in Washington, D.C. So, being a whistleblower, it's an easy job. And probably will get you a book deal and maybe a TV contract on the bottom-feeding catfish news network, otherwise known as CNN. All for being, that's right, a whistleblower. Well, you know him as a Fox News legal analyst and the author of the #1 best-selling book, The Russia Hoax. His new book digs even deeper into exposing the deep state, and it's called Witch Hunt, the story of the greatest mass delusion in American political history. Please welcome back to the show our good friend, Greg Jerry. Greg, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Gotta be honest, I'm worried about these people blowing whistles all night long. I don't know what's going to happen.
Because you know, the day the story broke about the whistleblower,
Yeah.
I wrote a column that said, the whistleblower is not a whistleblower.
Yeah.
He's not a whistleblower under the law. If you read the law, it's got to be, you have to be blowing the whistle at intelligence activity, which this wasn't, and you have to blow the whistle on somebody in the intelligence community. Well, the president's not in the intelligence community. They report to him.
This new book called Witch Hunt, what you talk about is that the origin of this was not just some people who love their country and trying to make sure it was okay. These were people on a mission to destroy an elected president. I mean, is that a fair assessment? Has that really happened?
Yeah, no, they wanted to, first they wanted to stop him from becoming president. Then, once he was unexpectedly elected, they wanted to drive him from office and undo the election results. And people always ask, well, why would they do this?
Let's talk about who they are.
They are, a lot of people call them the deep state. I call it a malignant force. That's how I open the book. These are people,
well said.
Thank you. These are people in the intelligence community, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the State Department. They are people of like mind. They are all addicted to power. Trump was a threat to them because he promised to drain the swamp. The swamp didn't want to be drained. Power in Washington is like crack cocaine. Once you start, you don't want to stop. You don't want to give it up. You'll do anything to make sure that it keeps going.
Greg, there are thousands of people in the intelligence community and in law enforcement, Department of Justice, FBI. What percentage are the bad guys? Because I don't want to disparage all of those people. There are some fantastic public servants, people who have sacrificed really their entire lives to serve this country.
Great.
So, I know we're not talking about everyone in the intel community, not everyone in the FBI or Justice Department. What would be your guess at the percentage of people that we ought to be worried about that have really stepped across the line and threatened this republic of ours?
It's a small cabal at the top of, at the time, the FBI, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, others as well, with a like-minded cabal at the CIA headed by John Brennan and the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. I name names in the book, and I go through in meticulous detail their malicious, insidious acts their insipid lies and deceptions, and the corruption that was so endemic in their administration of their agencies.
Adam Schiff, for over 2 years, said, "We have the evidence." And he kept talking about that he had the evidence. Yeah, then the Mueller report came out and found out he didn't have anything.
Right.
So when he says now that it's the Ukraine situation, why shouldn't we trust him?
You know, Adam Schiff is the professor emeritus of lies. And so this is a man, you know, if Democrats are really serious about what they're doing, the first thing they need to do is dump Schiff.
By the way, do you think that the Attorney General will get to the bottom of what really happened? And will people be held accountable? Because this really truly has been a threat to our system of government.
You know, I have great confidence in William Barr, the Attorney General. He cares about one thing: upholding the rule of law. That nobody is above the law, nobody's below the law. And he's assigned probably the best prosecutor in the United States in terms of getting at corruption in U.S. Attorney John Durham, who, I live in Connecticut, he's my U.S. attorney up there. This is a man who has put FBI and CIA people behind bars. He will get to the bottom of it.
One of the things that I admire most about your writing is that you document. You don't just say, "I heard, I think, I believe, it may have happened, or somebody told me." You cite the source, you quote the source, you footnote the source, and it's what makes this book so powerful. If people want to understand all of these myriad of things that they're hearing, I highly recommend that they get this book, Witch Hunt, by Greg Jarrett. It is a must-read new book called Witch Hunt, available now on Amazon, and you can read a free sample at his website, thegregjarrett.com. It's on your screen, so jot it down. And follow the Greg Jarrett on Facebook, and on Twitter, it's just simply at Greg Jarrett, 2 G's in Greg. Delight to have him here. Keith Bilbrey has no delusions at all about the rest of the show. We're going to let him tell you all about it.
Well, here we go. Coming up, Auntie Anne's founder and inspiring author Ann Byler, United States Senator Marsha Blackburn, and country music superstar Charlie Daniels sings on Huckabee.
I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me.
Since its founding in 1970, Samaritan's Purse has been providing spiritual and physical aid to victims of war and natural disasters, disease, famine, poverty, and persecution. And they've done it in more than 100 countries, and they've done it all in the name of Jesus Christ. Why not partner with them today in meeting critical needs for victims of war and disaster, famine? And if you've got a heart for the hurting, there just simply isn't a better place to express that love than by calling Samaritan's Purse, or visit their website and then share a generous gift, because you'll be helping to heal those who are in physical as well as emotional need. Well, my next guest started out twisting some pretzels at a farmer's market to help her fund her husband's free counseling service. Auntie Anne's grew into one of America's most successful woman-owned franchises. But through it all, she was hiding a personal tragedy that she shares in her brand new book. It's called The Secret Lies Within. Please welcome the real Auntie Anne herself, Ann Byler. Ann, thank you for coming tonight. So happy to have you here. Life has not always been, let's say, a bowl of cherries. There have been some tough moments in Ann Byler's life, and it goes back. You lost a daughter to death when she was just an infant. That had to have been more than devastating.
Well, my sweet Angie, she was 19 months old when she went to be with Jesus, and it happened on a Monday morning, and she was taking her morning walk to my mom's house, and in a split second, she was killed instantly when my sister drove over her with the bobcat. She was hauling sand for my dad at that time. And it changed my life. Trauma changes our lives forever.
Yes.
And as Angie made her ascent into heaven that day, it's been many years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I began my slow and very gradual descent into this world of spiritual confusion and emotional pain because I was confused. I thought that life is good and God is harsh. And that morning changed everything for me. It really took me into this world that I knew nothing about.
But that was the beginning of a deep, deep spiritual challenge. And I think one of the most powerful things in the book is that you talk very candidly about how someone you went to for help during this time of your life took advantage of you.
After Angie was killed, the grief was more than I could bear. My husband and I, who'd been very closely, we just had a great marriage, and we began to just separate emotionally and in every way. And there was the great wall of China between us. And my pastor came to me about 5 months later, and he said, if you'll come talk to me in my office, he said, I'd like to, just talk. I know you're not doing well. So that was really an answer to prayer for me. And before I left his office that day, he took advantage of me and took me into a world of sexual abuse for 7 years.
Oh my goodness.
That
out of your grief.
Out of my grief. And so the responsibility that I take about that is that I decided that day that I was never going to tell anyone, and that this would be my secret all the way to the grave. At the end of all that, I discovered that my other two sisters were also, he was also abusing them, and that's their story to tell, but it's also in my book. And also my youngest daughter was being abused by him.
You just held it in for many years. You started finally trying to work through it, but there was one thing that had to be done, and that's openly dealing with it.
And I was alone. I was going to church every Sunday. I was pretending like everything's just fine. If you would ask me how I'm doing, my standard answer was, I'm just fine. Hallelujah. And nobody knew, but I was dying on the inside. And there were three things that I discovered during that time. There were three types of confession. One is the bedside prayer, which we all do, which is our wonderful privilege that we can do that as believers. The second was journaling, talking about my feelings on paper. And the third one was found in James 5:16. Confess your faults one to another, and you'll be healed. And I didn't know about that verse at that time, but 7 years into this, God spoke to me, and he said, I want you to get up off your knees. I want you to go tell Jonas, your husband, what's going on in your life. Well, it's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to burden him. I didn't want him to know, because I knew it would devastate him. And when we're in this place of pain, we believe lies. Really, that's all we believe, lies. And the three lies that I believed was I'm unlovable, I'm unchangeable, and I'm unforgivable. I knew that for sure. And I knew if I told Jonas, being raised in the Amish and Mennonite culture, that he would divorce me. No doubt. And so I got up off my knees, and I got my little blue pickup truck. And we lived in Troop, Texas at that time. And I went to his office. He was had a body shop. And when I went to the office, and I had two lines of the confession that I made to him. And when I said to him what I did, I looked him straight in the eyes, and I saw the look. And I turned around and walked away, because I knew that he is devastated. And I knew that he was going to come home and tell me that he's going to divorce me. Today, I'm grateful to say there is a happy ending to this story.
I'm waiting to hear it. That's the good news.
The happy ending is that we're married 51 years. In September the 14th, I have a wonderful man. And the good news is that one simple confession that I made that was hard, and it was harsh, and it was humiliating, that one confession changed the trajectory of my entire life. God began to redeem me, my family, and then out of that redemption plan, he created Auntie Anne's. And if that confession would never have been made, there would be no Auntie Anne's. Can you imagine a world without Auntie Anne's?
I can't even imagine.
I mean, really, right?
You know, I think everyone watching the show is going to go out and confess something because they think, what is the world going to miss if I don't do this? This is the book. It's called The Secret Lies Within. You need to get it. You can learn more on her website, AuntieAnneBeiler.com. It's right on your screen. And there you're also going to find her other books, her blog, free newsletter, and a whole lot more. Connect with her on Facebook at Auntie Anne Beiler and on Twitter and Instagram at Auntie Anne B. Now, Keith Bilby's over there about to turn himself into a pretzel. He's going to blow the lid off the secrets of our show tonight, but please, Keith, don't twist the truth.
For pretzel, I will.
Thanks, the illusions of Ken Hartley. Later, we visit the Musicians Hall of Fame. Then, country music star Charlie Daniels sings on Huckabee.
Kevin, last time we talked, markets were at near all-time highs, and you said it might be a good time to take some profits. Now, in hindsight, that's pretty good advice.
Yes, Governor, and no one has ever gone broke taking a profit.
So are we going to see more market volatility ahead?
I believe so. There's $22 trillion worth of government debt, huge amounts of corporate debt, higher interest rates, and the economy seems to be slowing a little. That's a recipe for volatility.
So does that mean we ought to get out of stocks entirely?
No. We recommend diversification. Move a portion of your portfolio over to tangible assets like gold and silver. I think they're going to do extremely well over the next 2 to 3 years.
Kevin, that makes sense to me. And I want to say thanks to Lear Capital for being a sponsor of the Huckabee Show. And for those who would like some more information, and they should, how do they get it?
They can either visit us at our website or call the 800 number on the screen, and we're happy to help.
Next week, Senator Rand Paul takes on socialism, and Andrew Brunson speaks out for the persecuted.
Well, if you drop by my daily news and commentary site, MikeHuckabee.com, this week, you would know that the Brexit deal that the UK agreed to with the European Union has included a hairbrush and hairspray for Boris Johnson. It's part of the deal. And there's also some serious stuff about Syria, our president, Nancy Pelosi, and the slate of Democratic presidential candidates, not to mention my free newsletter delivered directly to your email inbox twice a day when you sign up. Now, it's more fun than a barrel of congressmen shouting for impeachment. And while you're at it, follow me on Twitter at GovMikeHuckabee. I guarantee you'll enjoy my tweets, twits, and my quotes, all of those things. My next guest is one of the most gifted and versatile people I've ever worked with. He goes with me on our Israel trips, and he is beloved by our guests. He's a terrific singer, actor, inspiring speaker. He's a best-selling author. But before we get into all of that, he's going to do something that I most love about him. He's going to share his most amazing skill as a magician and illusionist. Would you welcome my friend, Ken Hartley? Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Great having you here.
Oh, it's an honor to be here.
I'm a big kid when it comes to magic things, so I'm going to turn it over to you and let you take it away. What are you going to do?
Well, I take it to do this, I need some help from somebody in the audience.